That's why a lot of autistic people are furries. There's this trope of autistic people taking on cat mannerisms as children because they just get cats better. Like, that is a very common experience, and it's all normal. I feel like this episode is like, it's okay, it's normal, it happens. You are not alone. That's the theme of this episode. Hi, and welcome to the third Ask a Therapist radio show. I'm RiaRosella. You have questions. I want to answer them. In the description, you can ask me a question. There's a Google form. I have been so touched with all the questions I've gotten, so please ask one. And if you find this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe, and maybe share it around. Anyway, let's get right to the questions. So we have Ashley, he, him, / she, her. Personally, I just want more questions to help me understand, because I'm unsure if I may be trans or not, because others keep saying to keep questioning and thinking, but personally I can't come up with more questions for myself. Well, I'm sorry. I can give you some questions, and I probably will before this answer is over, but at some point it's not about questions. At some point it's about doing and feeling. People tend to, when they have a big decision, try to think their way through something because they're looking for safety. They're looking for, oh, can I be really, really sure before I make a big decision? You can do that. You can be more sure, but there's only so sure you can be. Questioning for a really long time isn't going to get you there. I know I questioned for a really long time. I questioned for 5 years of my life whether this was the right decision for me. And there wasn't a magic like, oh, I asked enough questions and I magically thought, golly gee willikers, I know the answer. Huzzah! That's not how that works. If you have done the exploration, like done the social transition stuff, try to figure it out by doing, and you're still questioning, at some point you're going to hit that leap of faith, or you just have to take it. There's no perfect question to know for sure. You can't ask yourself into being transgender. But I can't say I don't deliver, so let me give you some questions. I think the best question to ask yourself if you are determining if you are trans or not is not the would you press the button question. That one can be a little bit more complicated. What I do is I personally modify that question saying, if you were magically transitioned to get the exact body combination that you believe is right for you, no matter what that is, and someone offered you a button to turn it back, would you? And if you would, why? Is it because it isn't you? Is it because you're scared? Is it because you are just so, like, freaked out? Freaking out and being scared are not good reasons to not transition. If you feel that it's right for you, it's right for you, and it needs to be for you. Another question to ask yourself is, where do my various gender feelings come from? Are they gendered feelings that feel like me? Are they been put upon me? Am I apathetic? Which is a big one that people struggle with. Honestly, and I guess I should have said this from the beginning, a therapist is a very valuable tool for figuring it out and guiding you through the process of exploration, and can maybe ask you some of these questions. But like I said before, no question will make you 100% sure you're trans. Either you will get there through experience, or you will make a leap of faith when you are as sure as you feel that you can be. I'm sorry. I would also say watch this entire series, as well as my educational content, this type of question has come up a couple different times in a couple different ways, and I'm sure you'll get even more information on it. But like I said, it's about doing. Thank you so much, Ashley. All right, Anonymous, they, he. On HRT with estrogen, I was really looking forward to being strongly affected by my emotions, as most people are experience reporting. My levels are all great, but despite getting rid of anhedonia I experience, I can't cry no matter how much I feel like I need to. Is this most likely a biochemical or psychological in nature? Is there anything I can do or work on to get the physical emotion catharsis I was hoping for? Well, somatic therapy of getting in touch with your body is definitely one. Trauma therapy, if you have trauma reasons why you think it might be hard to be vulnerable enough to cry, is another. Maybe if you're some flavor of neurodivergent, that could be the cause. Or there could be a biochemical reason. Like maybe you're literally depressed, right? Like your body is just lower in function when it comes to certain things, and you need to be pepped up a little bit. There are lots of different factors. I guess I would just say get in touch with your body and do really good therapy and get doctors about it. And also make peace. Make peace with your experience of your emotions as your experience. If you know what you're feeling, at a minimum, try to give those feelings what they need. If you know you have some stuff to work through it. If you know you have some medical professionals, consult them. And some people just struggle to cry. Like, there's no silver bullet here. Sorry, Anonymous, but maybe that's how you're wired. All right, Amaryllis, any pronouns. What was the trans community like when you discovered you were trans? How has it changed compared to now? Well, while I was still figuring it out, the trans community was doing a thing where it was trying to capitulate to the right. It was trying to be like, okay, like biology is biology, trans women are male, but their gender is female. It was a little bit more biologically essentialist because it was trying to appease the cisgender society. I believe it was also due to just the collective generational trauma of the HIV/AIDS crisis in the Reagan years. It really messed up our community for a long time and still does. I think other things about it, people were a lot more closeted. Being stealth was way more discussed than it is now. You think there's passing and pressure to pass issues now? It was so much higher then. I mean, that was back when the W path was not as good as it is now, and it's still not perfect, but there was all the fears of having to present as your gender before you are allowed to get on hormones, and that had just went away not that long in our collective memory. So much so that some people were staying in the closet longer because they felt like, oh, well, I can't do that. It's impossible. And since it's impossible to do that, I'm just not going to transition. I guess if I had to say, I think there was a lot of radiation of the oppression was stifling compared to now where it is multifaceted. I think that's how I would say it. Now you have the extreme acceptance of the internet getting as big as it is now, and people understanding who we are, and most of the public, even if there's a loud minority who doesn't and won't get it, or specifically trying not to, rather, there are so many people who do. And so there's this really strong, bright, proud streak in the community that wasn't there when I was coming up and starting to transition. But then you have the stifling pressure of the current regime. I'm not even going to say administration at this point. And that is, it's very like pushed to the extremes now, as opposed to then where it was much more subtly bad and suffocating you without you even realizing it. That's what I would say is a lot of the major differences. Next question. Captain Zach 7 Any. I wonder what gender euphoria feels like, as I think I'm trans, but I haven't had dysphoria, I don't think. But as I try to be more feminine, I get warm and fuzzy feelings and thinking because harder and slower. Probably becomes harder and slower, as also my heart rate goes up. Sorry if this is long. Oh, sweetheart, it's okay. I mean, that warm and fuzzy feeling is the gender euphoria. You've already got it. Like, good job. You understand the assignment. That's gender euphoria. Yay. You've been explicitly told. Now, obviously, that's based on our community narratives and stuff. Like, I can't truly tell you what's inside of you. I'm not your therapist. I am a therapist. But, I mean, what you're describing is what most of us in the community see as gender euphoria. So, yay! Okay. This one's going to be a lightning round because there's a lot of questions. And in general, like, hey, like, maybe try to not ask so many questions, but I'm going to try to go really, really fast through this anonymous question. Preface: I have ADHD, bisexual, AFAB, cis questioning, non-binary person. At what point does a cisgender person consider themselves non-binary? You're non-binary if you don't identify with the gender you're assigned at birth, just like trans, and you don't identify as like one of the poles. That's it. The point is your identification. As I'm both bisexual and possibly non-binary, how do I and others similar to me know if I want to become someone or want to be with someone? You can't know. I mean, the more you explore yourself and actually like build who you are, that will become less of a problem with time. But while you're, I'm going to assume, on the younger side of the spectrum, that identity building piece is going to be prevalent in your life until it isn't. But once you resolve that, then you know. All right. Question 3. Does neurodivergence such as ADHD or autism contribute to gender and sexuality fluidity, or are they completely preset when you're born? We don't know. We know that these things correlate highly, but we have no idea exactly. I will say that everything is both biological and environmental. That's just how we work as humans. Nothing is truly preset. Epigenetics is a thing. Oh, they actually gave an example. Example: as a pan/bisexual, preferring masculinity for a long time, then suddenly heavily preferring femininity and barely attracted to men. There could be so many reasons why that's happening. Is it sociological compat stuff? Is it hormone changes? Is it like you just learning yourself more? There's no way to know. Sorry. You got to do the exploration. There's no shortcuts in building yourself up. All right, let's see what's next on this list. On the surface, why are there seemingly more transfemme than transmasc? Why are there more AFAB enbys than AMAB? We don't know, number one, why there's more AFAB enbys than AMAB for sure, but a lot of it is just people who are assigned female birth in our society are more likely to be allowed to explore and like manage like gender stuff better. Or easier rather. As for more transfemme than transmascs, there isn't more transfemme than transmascs. Transmascs are less visible because testosterone is a hell of a drug. Transfeminine people, we look more visibly trans because we can't completely erase the effects of testosterone if we went through a masculinizing puberty. We can do a lot, but we're just more visibly trans. That's all. And also society focuses on us more because how dare we as women choose like that womanhood? How dare we give up the power position of masculinity? Pew, 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 pew. No, like we are who we are, but society thinks that we're shitty for that basically because we gave up privilege. But screw them. question 5 out of this lightning round. More psychology questions. Some anti-LGBT traditionalists say that sexuality and gender is a choice. Could those people actually be bisexuals and non-binary people in denial? Who knows? We can't tell. For question 6, is it true that there are more people on the bisexual spectrum than straight and gay people? Yes. More people are statistically bisexual than there are people who are straight or who identify as straight or gay. That is very true. All right, and last but not least on this lightning round, is it true that cis/straight people don't question about these things? If you question, you probably are. That is not true. It is not true. Cis people do question. I think there's this unstated words that aren't in this question, which are all the time question gender. Having it constantly be a part of what you're questioning. Like if you can't let it go, then you probably have some gender stuff to work out. But the random like, oh, what would it like to be a guy? Or what would it like to be a girl? Or maybe I could be a queer, like, fashion, like, trendy or whatever person. I don't know. But non-binary, you are like a amalgamation of wonderful, beautiful humans in all different kinds of configurations. I can't even use the English language to tell you how vast and wonderful you are. So, but maybe someone wants to be that. And they could have those questions occasionally. But if you're constantly like on a cycle or all the time thinking about gender, that's when it's like, you probably need to dig into this deeper. But yes, no, that literal no one questions is not true and kind of toxic in my opinion. We have Leah, she, her. I did not have an egg crack moment, but more like an egg explosion. I never really thought that I felt like I was in the wrong body until that explosion. And now I'm finding clues in my past. Is that normal? If you can even call it that? Yeah, a lot of people will look back on things and like be like, oh snap, that was totally a trans memory, or oh snap, that was a thing. And it's just a very common experience. Like some people feel like they have no memories from the past, but I think Abigail Thorne in her coming out video talked about how things can get retextualized as we learn more about ourselves. That is what we're talking about here. So yes, Philosophy Tube mentioned, put it in the comments, etc. Woo, but she's right. All right, we have Bonka, they, them. I'm quite curious as someone who has ADHD, maybe autism as well, but who knows? Is there a correlation of feeling almost not human, but not in the way of how other people alienate you? Because I have felt that for a long time, even before finding out of being non-binary. Yes. That's a very common experience of feeling like an other because you don't understand the people around you. That's why autistic people relate to monsters, aliens. That's why a lot of autistic people are furries. There's this trope of autistic people taking on cat mannerisms as children because they just get cats better. Like, that is a very common experience. And it's all normal. I feel like this episode is like, it's okay. It's normal. It happens. You are not alone. That's the theme of this episode. Ice B, she, her. As a new transfemme, how can I find a therapist that works really well for me? Well, I personally find getting a community-led experience, because that's what I do, as kind of the best way. So I have found a lot of therapists will just put in like marketing, I do LGBT because I do, and I don't like discriminate, so I'm going to list that I do that. And it's not as useful. I think if you're more to look for polyamory affirming therapists or people who are kink aware therapists, I can put some directories in the description. Look for those therapists, and that will probably be a better experience than just looking on Psych Today. Miranda, she, her. I have a hard time connecting with my emotions, and that makes it harder for me to ask the right questions. Do you have any tips on how to better connect with one's emotions and put down your barriers? All these questions that we're talking about today. Get into your bodies, y'all. I know the current climate is making all of us so dissociated right now, but we have to sit with ourselves. So somatic therapy, I think I mentioned in every session of this radio show, but yeah, we have to reconnect with our body in order to feel emotions, in order to be able to use that as data. I think maybe this even relates to the question of feeling like an other so much. We feel so much like an other that we kind of become an other in our brain, and like we view ourselves as like a brain and hands, like I'm a mech pilot driving a meat suit, something like to that effect. And that level of dissociation is cutting you off from so much rich data about your world. Getting into your body and like trying to feel things through that experience. And it can be as simple as focusing on the senses while you're eating, feeling the sun on your skin and paying attention to it. Like basic grounding stuff. I guess I need to do a video on this. Well, I kind of did with the 5 senses exercise, but more specific on the somatic stuff. Getting connected via sense data. Maybe here's another example. When you know you are feeling an emotion, like you are 100% sure, yep, I'm pissed right now, or yep, I'm really sad. I want you to slow down for a second and just feel that emotion in your body. Take note of that experience. It'll help you go through that fog of war of not understanding what your body is like. That is what's needed in order to build that awareness. Take what is easy to feel and go out from there. Thank you so much for your question. Snaky Cat, she, they, we're going to skip your question because I answered it in the first one and kind of got through that. But thank you so much for saying that you like social work. And it's your flavor of TISM. It's my flavor of TISM. Let's go. Paladin/Rivian, any, would writing fan fiction involving your potential gender identity be a good way to process or gain a better understanding of it? Yes. Any exploration with your preferred gender will help you get a better understanding of it. I 100% agree. I think more hands-on is always better because you get that feedback. You start building that performance by interacting with other people. If the performance is something you want to build, of course. But like as a place to start, a lot of us have done this. This is like the playing video games thing. This is the going in Discords thing. It's just another version. And yes, do it. Write. Put it in the comments for us to read if you've already done it. I would love to read it. Thank you so much. All right, Ashley, she, her. So I'm closeted trans girl, and one of the things that is holding me back is my family relies on me so much for stuff, and I feel as if I transition, they'll stop asking me for stuff, but I'm kind of thinking maybe I want them to stop asking to do stuff, but I don't know. I can't seem to get the thoughts straight. I can't figure it out. Should I just cut ties and move on? I can't tell you what to do. I'm so sorry, Ashley. I'm so sorry. But what I will say is getting better boundaries and actualizing yourself is a really good thing to do. So many of us give and give and give too much of ourselves, and we don't leave anything for us. It's our lives. We have to experience it. You can't give people everything, sweetheart. All right, Galaxy, I don't know. Whatever seems good. Any advice for coming out to your significant other? So many leap of faith questions. I feel like this should be what this document is called, leap of faith questions. Like, so many of them. Oh, goodness. Well, like giving anyone any hard news, you need to make sure they're in a place where they can hear you and they're not busy with other things. That isn't to say you keep putting it off because, oh, you're stressed about this, or oh, you're stressed about that. No. It's more in this moment, are they able to hear you? Not, do they have zero stress ever? If it's, you try to find that, you're never going to find it. I think making it not a discussion is very important for coming out. As I've said before, if people think that they can convince you otherwise, if you're really sure, it's going to cause more tension. You got to just tell your truth. They will interpret any hesitation that you have about the conversation as hesitation in your gender. And that's going to lead to some confusion. So, being calm, sure, clear, that's what's really important. And also just being prepared for them to not love you if in a romantic way anymore. They will love you as a person because they care about you, but maybe they really need to be with a gender that's different than the one you are. If that's the case, then you have to be ready for that. Again, there's no magic solution to pull these punches. You have to just have it. You gotta do it. I say sorry, y'all, there's nothing I can do. You can't do anything. You're screwed. Goodbye. Get wrecked. No, you can communicate better in a place of not being elevated. You can learn more before you make the leap of faith, but there's always going to be the leap. There's always going to be that unknown. You can't mitigate the unknown. If you feel like you can mitigate the unknown, you are lying to yourself. If you are waiting for 100% a surety that the people around you are going to get it, or that you're going to know any outcome 100%, you're just stuck in your situation. It's never going to come. You have to have that leap of faith. But yeah, I hope hearing me ramble on about these experiences was very useful for you. If it was, I want you to tell me what was useful in the comments. Please tell me, because I want to know what you value so I can give it more to y'all. Please like and subscribe and share this video if you found it helpful. Give it to your questioning, since there were so many about questions, right? Your questioning friends, and tell them to, take a deeper dive in my other content if you feel that it would be helpful. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got to the very end, let's do let's see what's in this room. How about is there a leaf or ivy emoji? I don't have all the emojis memorized, but since there's plants behind me, pick a leafy one to be your the thing you comment when you tell me about what you found was important. Anyway, y'all take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Welcome to the magic place of the Endcard. I want to give a shout out to the people doing fan art and my $5 plus patrons you see here. Will you please subscribe and ring the bell as well? Check out this video here next. Please do it for me, sweetie. Mwah.